The executive has maintained a studious silence on revelations that Kenya put up its assets as security for the standard gauge railway. The Office of the President, the National Treasury, the Ministry of Transport and the Attorney General's Office have kept mum on the terms of the contract which President Uhuru Kenyatta rightly stated the Kenyan taxpayer has every right to be privy to. The government offices involved have either snubbed our numerous inquiries, passed the buck or refused to go on record. Did the president, in his boldness, state wrong information as truth? And where is the accountability the president spoke so passionately about only weeks ago? Olive Barrows takes a closer look.
In terms of the contract, I think the more oxygen or fresh air there is, the better.
Rather than take counsel, it appears the executive has chosen to muffle clarity over the standard gauge railway deal with China. The government offices concerned being the National Treasury, which signed for the deal, the Ministry of Transport, the custodian and ministry responsible for the implementation of the project, and the State Law Office.
All major contracts have to be signed off by the Attorney General's Office, and the AG, his role and his people is to look at the legal aspects of not just the contract, but the procedures that have been undertaken to get to that contractual document, to ensure that the country will not get into a bad deal, that the clauses of the contract will be in the interests of the people of Kenya.
An expectation the State Law Office, alongside the National Treasury and the Ministry of Transport, apparently failed to meet.
They did the feasibility study, and then they did the consultancy the design work. And then again they did the construction. And then they supervised themselves in construction. So all the stages of the chain where you're meant to have checks and balances between different professionals to check each other, to test what is being done, were being done by the same agency. So it becomes very difficult to tell whether you got value for money, what could have gone wrong.
IMF and World Bank, those financial institutions have a structure on how you get into loans. First, you do a feasibility study, is done by 3 people. Government itself does. A contractor who wants that contract will do his own, which definitely they will also rubber stamp. Then an independent one, which is mostly done by the financial institutions itself. It was World Bank, then IMF will do it. So there is that somebody who is an independent one.
The terms of the contract, a copy of which was obtained by The Nation, show that China has taken on zero risk, while none of Kenya's assets are safe from seizure should she default.
The biggest problem with that contract, without clause, is that we talk about lifting sovereign immunity, and Chinese laws only apply. So you're left at the mercy of China. And you know, that power is given by the Constitution. So even somebody to lift it up, it has to go through a process. Even Parliament has to be involved.
Reached for comment, the former Attorney General, Githum Muigai, on whose desk the legalities sat, stated, "You've got the wrong man." And while the sitting Attorney General Kihara Kariuki did seek to establish the exact nature of our inquiry through his communications team, he has yet to respond 1 week down the line. Inquiries made to the National Treasury were met with a wall of silence from the Cabinet Secretary Henry Rotich. Sources indicate that Treasury's defense is that the CES signs on the strength of approvals by the Attorney General and the Transport Ministry. Transport CS James Macharia did return text messages but was non-committal on the terms of the copy of the contract in Nation's possession. As for recourse,
the Attorney General has a case to answer. The office itself has to explain if this contract is true, what we are seeing in the public domain, that these are the terms of reference that they signed to. And also the person who signed it, which is the Minister of Finance.
The more the members of the public see the contract, the better, because then we'll have a genuine national conversation about did we get a good deal, where may there have been some shortcomings, and what is the best way of addressing them.
Olive Barrows, NTV.